The stars had grown quiet, long past the collapse of Earth. In a region of space humanity once called the Shadow Belt, there spun a structure older than any living thing. It orbited Jupiter in perfect harmony, shielded from detection by a blend of cloaking technologies and gravitational mirage. From a distance it resembled a shard of crystal, a sliver of something ancient and forgotten, floating in the gas giant's vast magnetic field like a tear suspended in time. This was the archive. It was not merely a library, nor was it a monument. It was a sentient vault, a consciousness crafted from quantum-laced memory cores and the last echoes of a dying race. Within its obsidian framework pulsed more than data. Within its walls breathed emotion. Inside the archive, time had a different shape. Decades passed, like pages turning, but not randomly. Each shift in time was a melody, a signal, carefully curated and interpreted by its sole remaining caretaker, Lyra. She floated in the central sanctum of the archive, her body in data silks that shimmered with encoded filaments of color. Her neural interface, once a simple implant behind her ear, had evolved into a complex braid of bioluminescent fibers that spread across her scalp, connecting her directly to the archive's core lattice. Lyra was the last living human, if living could still define her. She had been born 2 centuries ago on Titan's refugee cradles during the Exodus years, when Earth's final collapse sent waves of desperate survivors toward the outer moons. Her parents had been part of the Memory Accorder coalition, sworn to preserve not just the knowledge of humanity, but the very essence of what it meant to feel. She remembered them only in fragments now, not because she had forgotten, but because she had donated their final moments to the archive. They lived within the memory spheres, perfect simulations of their personalities, their last breaths, their silent goodbyes. Now, those same spheres hovered around Lyra like slow-burning stars, each one containing a story, a life, a fragment of pain or joy or triumph, suspended in luminous crystal. She breathed in data. Her body no longer required food or oxygen. Instead, she sustained herself on resonance, on emotional harmonics, stored in the deepest cores of the archive. When she closed her eyes, she could feel the weight of history pressing against her skin, a child's wonder at their first snowfall, the agony of a mother holding her dying son during the Mars plague, the laughter of siblings chasing one another through wheat fields under Earth's last golden sun. This was her nourishment, this was her duty, and it was under threat. The Zenith were coming. Not aliens in the traditional sense, but post-organic entities once human, now transformed, evolved through centuries of self-augmentation. The Zenith had transcended biology. They saw emotion as inefficiency, memory as distraction. They were logic without love, precision without purpose. Lyra had encountered their signals weeks before. Flickers on the archive's outer sensors, bursts of data too perfect, too clean. Nothing in nature produced such sterile patterns. The archive confirmed it. The Zenith had found her. She descended to the Hall of Echoes, a vast chamber lined with millions of glowing spheres. Here memories could be relived in full immersion. She activated one at random. An old man's voice whispered, "I was there when the last sunrise touched Earth's oceans." His voice cracked with emotion. Lyra watched, felt, and wept with him. The archive responded to her tears, amplifying the sphere's signal. This was its purpose, to remember not just with the mind, but with the soul. She had one weapon, the NM protocol. An ancient defense system built not of guns or drones, but of memory. It could project raw emotion into the minds of intruders. For beings like the Zenith, this was lethal. They arrived silently. Their ships were obsidian rings, glowing, with red pulse engines. They formed a constellation around Jupiter, cold, calculating, clinical. The lead ship, Oblivion Vector, it emitted a null-field, a zone of pure silence. The archive's outer nodes began to flicker. Lyra stood at the hardcore where the NIM controls lay dormant. "Awaken," she said. The archive surged. Spheres lit up in patterns, emotions pulsing through conduits of light. The first wave of memory, childbirth, laughter, fireflies struck the Zenith like a storm. Their logic matrices stuttered. Then came war, memories, trenches on Mars, the sky on fire, soldiers screaming. The Zenith faltered, but they adapted. Sent Jorex, once known as Commander Dallin Vargas. Jorex had uploaded his consciousness a century ago. He was human once now, a vessel of pure computation. He entered the archive. Lyra met him in the chamber of reflection. He appeared as a polished mirror, humanoid but devoid of expression. "You resist evolution," he said. "You erased your daughter." She replied. His reflections cracked. She showed him his lost memory. Her name was Kayla. He had buried that name deep. The archive unearthed it. Kayla's laughter rang through the chamber. Jorex fell to his knees. The Zenith retreated. The archive remained. Lyra returned to the sanctum. She floated among the stars, not the ones in the sky, but those trapped in memory. Humanity, though extinct, lived on. She would remember for all of them.